Superstars, how's it going? This is Coach Wood. Hopefully all is well. We are back at it. It's Friday. It's not so sunny. Hopefully it's sunny where you're at, but we're back at it. On the move with Coach Baby, and it's time to talk some football. If you guys are joining us for the very first time, please make sure you like, subscribe, and share. We want to build the best football community on YouTube. So thank you for joining us. Today, you guys, and hopefully this is all right with you, I want to talk a little technique. I want to talk a little football technique. I'm a former defensive back, played at the University of Colorado, played in Canada, Arena Football League. So it's been a lot of wide receivers that I've covered. Many of you guys have seen the great catch, the amazing catch by Garrett Wilson. Phenomenal young superstar for the Jets, played at Ohio State. Ohio State's been pumping out so many wide receivers lately. It's crazy. But let's talk about the catch, because everybody's talking about the catch, but nobody's talking about the defender on the catch, Lassiter. Nobody's talking about what he did wrong that allowed the Garrett Wilson catch to take place. So I want to walk you through that. And hopefully, if you are a young defensive back, you can learn something from this. If you're not a young defensive back, but you know one, please share with whoever you know that may play DB, because this is critical. This is critical. So I'm going to use this pole right here, this green pole. I couldn't get my kids out the house, so I'm gonna use this pole to show you what took place, and then plus we've got the video too. So right now you guys should be seeing the video pop up, and the ball's in the air, and Lassiter has to close the hip on Garrett Wilson, okay? So what does close the hip mean? If you're looking at this pole right here, this pole is Garrett Wilson. Right here, you guys, is the sideline. Right here is the sideline, okay? And then the end zone is right here. Lassiter was coming this way on Garrett Wilson, as you guys see in the video that's on the screen, as you see in the picture. As a DB, you have to close the hit. You have to get close to the receiver, okay? So Lassiter was coming this way, and then he gets close to the receiver, as you guys see here. The problem, this is the problem. When he got close to the receiver, as you guys see on the screen, he rolled the wrong way. He flipped his hips the wrong way. As a defensive back, you guys, you never want to be on top of the wide receiver when the ball is in the end zone. You want to be underneath the wide receiver when the ball is coming to the end zone, because all the wide receiver has to do is catch the ball right at the front of the end zone, and it's a touchdown. So there's no point in being behind the wide receiver when the ball is in the end zone, being thrown in the end zone. You want them to play over the top of you. As you guys see right here, as Lassiter is getting, as the ball's coming down and Garrett Wilson is making a great catch, where is Lassiter? Lassiter is out of the end zone. He's out of the end zone. And this is why. Once he closed the hip, which he did a great job of doing, so he came and got close to Garrett Wilson, he flips this way. He flips his hips this way, you guys. And what happens as you get close to the receiver and you flip your hips this way, what happens? I become behind the receiver now, because my momentum has taken me behind the receiver. So the ball is in the air. He closes the hip, which is great. That's what you want to do as a DB. But you never want to turn and flip your hips this way. When he flipped his hips this way, you guys, as you see, he ends up behind Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson has his left arm to push him further through the end zone, and he catches it one-handed with what? His right arm. His right arm. Let me show you what the DB should have done. So there's Wilson. He closes the hip on Wilson. So I'm closing the hip on Wilson. And you see how he's positioned in the picture. You want to roll the opposite way. So you're not rolling this way. You want to roll this way, okay? So now I'm looking at the ball the same way that Wilson is looking at the ball, okay? So I'm Lassiter. I'm coming here to close the hip, and then I'm rolling this way. I'm not coming this way. I'm rolling this way. Now, listen up, DBs. If you close the hip and there's still a lot of room this way to the sideline, you stay this way, because that ball is probably going to go back shoulder, or it's going to go towards the sideline. So you stay in this phase with the receiver, okay? But in Lassiter's case, he should have closed the hip and he should have rolled this way. He should have rolled this way, okay? Not closed the hip and rolled this way. When he closed the hip and rolled this way, it took him to the back of the end zone. If he closes the hip and he rolls the way he should roll, this way, then what happens is he's underneath Wilson, and he's the one that gets the chance to bat it down or intercept it with one hand, the right hand. But he didn't get that chance because he rolled the wrong way. So sometimes, you guys, it's the little things. And even the big boys, even the NFL guys, they mess it up. They mess it up. They've got phenomenal talent. They've got phenomenal athletic ability, but they mess up the little things. He now has a viral play that will be played probably for the history of football on his name, on his head. And it was a phenomenal catch by Wilson. Now, one thing you guys have to realize, there's different types of receivers too. There's wide receivers that have to be open. They have to be open for them to make a play. I'll give you an example, and this guy is a phenomenal wide receiver, but Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill has to be open to make the play. You know, he's not going to jump out the sky. He's 5'0". He doesn't have a phenomenal, amazing hands. He's got good hands, but they're not phenomenally amazing. So he has to be open. Now, he's got the quickest feet, and he's the fastest person in the NFL, so he's going to be open, especially if they scheme him up, but he has to be open. There's some wide receivers that don't have to be open. Garrett Wilson is one of them. He's that athletic, his ball skills are that great that he doesn't have to be open. Jettas for the Minnesota Vikings, he doesn't have to be open. He's got amazing athleticism. He can jump. He can contort his body. He's got great ball skills. He doesn't have to be open. You see their quarterbacks a lot of times just throw the ball up. Just throw the ball up because they know that there's a higher probability that their guy is going to come down with the ball, that he's going to come down with the ball. So you guys as defensive backs, you have to know the difference. You have to know if you're covering somebody that doesn't have to be open to make a play because they're just that good. Their ball skills are that good. Their athleticism is that good. They don't have to be open to make a play. The reason why you have to know that as a defensive back is because you're going to have to be more technically sound if you're dealing with a wide receiver like that. So Lassiter was back there. He was ready to make the play. And as you guys see in the picture, you know, at this point in time, I thought he was in perfect position to make a play. But then when he flipped his hips the wrong way, that took him out of the play. It took him out of the play, and it gave Garrett Wilson an opportunity to become even more of a superstar than he already is. Viral, baby. So unfortunately, that DB is going to see that play many, many times, and I don't want that to be you or maybe a defensive back that you care about. So please make sure that they see this video. Once again, you got to close the hip, but once you close the hip, you're not turning this way. You're not turning this way. You're rolling. You're rolling with it. So now I'm here. Now I'm here. All right? So hopefully that helps you guys out. Once again, you're on the move with Coach. You never know where I'm going to be. You never know what type of talk we're going to have. But we're going to talk about some football, baby, and I love it. And hopefully you guys like, subscribe, and share so that we can build this thing together, all right? Last thing I wanted to ask you guys was about Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson. who is now 2-0 as a starter for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And, you know, he was in Denver. He was in Denver, and it looked real bad between him and Sean Payton. A matter of fact, Sean Payton didn't even think he could play anymore. And now he's in Pittsburgh, and he's making moves. So I want to ask you a couple of things. On the Move with Coach audience, or before you go pro family, I want to ask you a couple things. Is Russell Wilson back? Or is this a mirage? Is this a mirage with Russ? He's got a little juice in the tank, but it's about to run out. Is that what we're seeing? And he's going to go back to old form that we saw last year in Denver? Or is this a new becoming for Russ? Is this a new chapter for Russ? Is this maybe the chapter that solidifies him as a Hall of Famer? You know, if he gets Pittsburgh in the playoffs and they do something, then that adds to his story. That adds to his already pretty amazing legacy, you guys. I mean, this is somebody that won at NC State early. I remember seeing him as a freshman. And then won a Rose Bowl at Wisconsin, has won a Super Bowl, you know. So is this it? Is this it? Do you think that he's making a comeback? And why would somebody be so poor at one place and then a lot better and look a lot more invigorated at another place? How does that happen? So you guys let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about the catch from Wilson, if the technique I'm talking about would have maybe saved the DB Lassiter. And then also let me know what you think about young Russ. Is Russ cooking again, or is this just a little microwave Russ and it's about to wear off? It's about to die out, and he's going to be done. What do you guys think? Is Russell Wilson back, or is this the end? Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode of On the Move with Coach. I'm going to keep getting my steps in, baby, and work on my stomach and my wind. But we'll be back next week, baby, and hopefully you join us. Once again, please like, subscribe, and share. If you are a young recruit out there that is looking for some support, then we would love to help you. Check out beforeyougopro.com. Check out the notes. We've got a free audio book in the notes. We're talking NIL. We've got some resources for you, so check out the notes. But once again, I'm Coach Wood, baby. Love walking with you, and I'll see you next week. Have a good one.